Willpower. We talk about it like it's a trait some people are born with and others are not, like height or luck. But willpower is not talent. It is not motivation. And it is not something that magically appears when life gets hard. Willpower is a relationship with time, with pain, with truth, and ultimately, with death. Because when people reach the end of their lives, they rarely regret what they failed to achieve. They regret what they failed to choose. They regret the moments when willpower was needed most, and they surrendered. Imagine this: you're lying in a hospital bed. The room is quiet. Machines hum softly. Your body is weak, but your mind is clear. Time is no longer something you manage. It's something you're running out of. And in that silence, you don't ask, "Was I talented enough?" You ask, "Why didn't I try harder when it mattered? Why did I keep choosing comfort over courage? Why did I wait?" This is where willpower reveals its true meaning. Not as discipline, but as self-respect over time. Today we're going to explore how willpower is built. Not through force, but through awareness. By looking at 5 regrets of willpower people carry when it's too late to change. If you understand these now, you don't just build willpower. You build a life you won't regret. The first regret of failed willpower is not laziness. It's betrayal of the self. Many people reach the end of their lives realizing they spent decades living according to expectations that were never theirs. They knew what they wanted. They felt it quietly, repeatedly. But they didn't act. Why? Because choosing yourself requires willpower, not against the world, but against fear. Fear of judgment, fear of disappointing others, fear of being alone. Psychologically, humans are wired to belong. Our brains treat social rejection as danger. So when your inner voice says, "This job is killing me, this relationship is shrinking me, this life isn't mine," your nervous system responds with anxiety, and willpower is required to stay with that discomfort long enough to act. There's a woman. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah always wanted to write. Not for fame, not for money, just because words made her feel alive. But she became what everyone praised. Responsible. Practical. Safe. Years passed, then decades. When she was diagnosed with a terminal illness, she didn't cry about unfinished novels. She cried because she never tried. Her regret wasn't failure. It was obedience. Willpower at its core is the courage to tolerate disapproval in exchange for authenticity. If you don't practice that now, you will regret it later. Lesson: willpower grows when you take small, consistent actions that align with who you truly are, even when no one applauds. Every time you choose honesty over approval, your willpower strengthens. Regret number 2. I wish I hadn't used all my willpower on the wrong things. Pause, tone deepens. The second regret is subtle and devastating. People often realize too late that they had willpower. They just spent it all in the wrong direction. They worked relentlessly, pushed themselves endlessly, sacrificed sleep, health, relationships. They were disciplined, focused, committed, but not present. Psychology tells us that willpower is a limited resource when driven by fear or external pressure. When you use it only to survive, impress, or escape, it drains you. There was a man who worked 14-hour days for years. He told himself, just a few more years, just one more promotion, just enough money. Then his body gave up before his plan did. In his final days, surrounded by people he barely knew anymore, he said something haunting. "I was strong every day, except when it mattered most." Willpower isn't about grinding endlessly. It's about choosing what deserves your energy. True willpower includes the strength to stop, to rest, to say no, to protect your health and relationships. If your discipline destroys your life, it's not willpower, it's avoidance. Lesson: willpower grows when it's guided by values, not fear. Ask yourself, what am I sacrificing, and is it worth my life? Regret number 3. I wish I had the strength to face my feelings. This regret doesn't look dramatic from the outside. It looks like silence. People often believe willpower means suppressing emotion. Staying strong, not breaking, But psychology shows the opposite. Suppressing emotions doesn't make you strong. It makes you numb. And numbness slowly kills willpower. When you don't allow yourself to feel sadness, anger, grief, or fear, your brain stays in constant defense mode. This consumes enormous mental energy. Eventually, you're too exhausted to change anything. Many people on their deathbeds say they wish they had been more honest with others and with themselves. They avoided difficult conversations. They swallowed resentment. They pretended to be fine. And over time, that emotional dishonesty eroded their inner strength. Willpower is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to sit with emotion without running from it. Crying takes willpower. Admitting fear takes willpower. Asking for help takes willpower. Lesson: willpower is built when you stop numbing and start feeling. Emotional honesty restores energy. Energy restores choice. Regret, metaphor. I wish I had protected my relationships. Another regret surfaces again and again at the end of life. I didn't realize how much people mattered. We often think willpower is about personal achievement, but willpower collapses in isolation. Research consistently shows that social connection strengthens self-control. When people feel supported, their stress decreases, and stress is the biggest enemy of willpower. Yet many people sacrifice friendships and family in the name of productivity. They think they'll reconnect later. Later doesn't always come. In the final chapters of life, people don't ask for their achievements. They ask for hands to hold. And many realize they push people away, not because they didn't care, but because they lack the willpower to maintain connection. Relationships require effort, presence, vulnerability, and those things require strength. Lesson: willpower grows in community. Protect your friendships. They are not distractions from your life. They are the foundation that gives you strength to live it. Regret. 5. I wish I had used my willpower to be happy now. The final regret is the quietest and the most painful. Many people realize too late that happiness was never something waiting in the future. It was a choice they postponed. They believed happiness would come after. Success, retirement, approval, stability. So they endured unhappiness today for a promise tomorrow. But tomorrow is not guaranteed. Psychology shows that happiness is not a reward. It's a skill. And like any skill, it requires practice and intention. Gratitude takes willpower. Presence takes willpower. Letting go of resentment takes willpower. People regret not allowing themselves moments of joy when they were available. Not because life was easy, but because life was alive. Lesson: willpower is not only for endurance. It is for joy. Choosing happiness now does not mean giving up ambition. It means refusing to sacrifice your soul for a future that may never arrive. One day, time will stop negotiating with you. You won't be able to delay change. You won't be able to say someday. You'll only have what you chose. Willpower is not about becoming superhuman. It's about becoming honest. Honest about how you spend your days. Honest about who you live for. Honest about what truly matters. Every small choice you make today is a rehearsal for that final moment. So ask yourself, not tomorrow, not someday. Today, what am I avoiding that requires courage? Where am I spending my strength on things that don't matter? Who am I neglecting? What joy am I postponing? Build willpower now, not through punishment, but through purpose. Because the greatest tragedy is not death. It's reaching the end of life and realizing you were capable of more, but never chose it.